Hi guys, my name is Faith Moyosore Agbola, aka AFM Stories, and you're welcome to my scholarship story. With me today is John Ogunjimi, who is a 2020 selected Chevening scholar who is going to be studying an MSc in Forensic Science with Crime Scene Investigation at the University of Central Lancashire. How does it feel to be selected for Chevening?
Exciting. I feel excited to be chosen for the scholarship, and I feel grateful as well.
Grateful. What would you say is a typical characteristics of a selected scholar from your experience?
One thing I've seen about all the scholars I've met so far is that everyone has a dream. So that dream is what initially propelled each person to apply for the scholarship, and that dream is
what drives
common
everything.
To everyone, yeah.
So you need to have a dream and then be able to, process that dream as well. What would you say is the right time to prepare for a scholarship?
As soon as you realize that you need a scholarship, it's never too early to prepare. There are people who are planning to apply in the next 2 years, for example, and already somebody reached out and said, I'll be applying in the next 2 years. What do you advise? Yes, somebody reached out to me recently. So I think as soon as you realize you're going to need a scholarship,
don't wait
start
till the last
preparing.
minute.
Yes.
Why would you say that though?
Now, the place of preparation is important. Realizing that there is a scholarship that you need. There are several scholarships, but some will meet your need more than others. So once you have identified the one you need, it's important to start researching about it, researching about the things the scholarship entails, what you will need to qualify for the scholarship, and start preparing yourself for the award even before the application opens.
So for you, at what moment did you know that you wanted a Chevening scholarship, and what inspired you to go for a Chevening scholarship?
Well, interestingly, I heard about the Chevening scholarship from a friend that I met at an event. I attended this offer holders event organized by one of the universities I applied to 2 years ago. So we had both applied. The friend I met, we applied to the University of Strathclyde, for example, for forensic science. I didn't know him before, but Strathclyde came to Lagos. They had this event for offer holders just to encourage and prepare for resumption. And we applied for Commonwealth Shared Scholarship together. So the hope was there that by September 2019,
you get one of them.
Unfortunately, we did not. Both of us. We just met at the event and we did not meet. We were not chosen for the scholarship. So he said, well, let's try Chevening. And then he sent me links to the groups that where I can get support about the scholarship.
Network.
Yeah, that was the key in that event there, because that was where I met, and then from there I picked up the application. And
so you started in 2019?
Yes, in 2019 around August. When the application opened in August, I was busy at work, so I didn't even have time to start writing my essays. But by October,
you had enough time.
I sat down. I didn't even have enough time, but I had to, because it was closing in November.
Wow! So
I started writing
really quickly.
Yes, although I had written previous essays for other scholarships, so I just had to bring out the points and then fit it to the scholarship I was applying for this time.
So let's go to your passion. I know that you're studying an MSc in Forensic Science with focus on crime scene investigation. So when I saw that on the group chat, I was like, whoa, this is really, really, really interesting. So I'd like to know, what inspired you to do this? I really want to know the thoughts behind it.
Okay, my first degree is in industrial chemistry.
Wow.
So when I was going for, it's not too different. When I was preparing for a master's, I went online. So I was looking for, my mind was overseas from the onset.
So you already knew.
So I tried looking for options in chemistry where I could specialize further. And then I found this course, Analytical and Forensic Chemistry. Okay, so it caught my interest. I read, that was in 2014 or so.
Wow.
So I tried to research what is forensic chemistry. I saw forensic science. So from there, the more I read, the more I felt like this is what I should be doing. So it's actually related to chemistry. And then from there, I started trying to know more about it, I looked around here. There was no option for forensic chemistry in the country.
Like,
So
I really
knew
don't
the
hear
only
people
place,
talk about that.
the only place I could get forensic chemistry or forensic science was outside.
Yeah.
And I knew that was, I come from a relatively humble background.
Okay.
The option of sponsoring myself was out of there.
Yeah,
It's
all of
hard
that
to
came
do a
in.
scholarship or nothing.
It's a lot of money, actually. Let's be
It
very
is,
like, how
it
much
is.
is your school fees?
Well, my tuition for the school I'm going, well, it's around 14,000.
Wow. Can you imagine how much that is in Naira?
About 13, 14. So,
Exactly. So
that's interest. From there, I started building on it and reading more about forensic science. It became a dream at that point. It became a dream. And I saw that my interest in my foundation and background in chemistry and science and my interest in law, it all came into this forensic science as a course where there's a combination of both.
everything.
Yes. So from there I started reading more, and that was where eventually I
apart from
went into
reading, did you
forensic
do
science.
anything physical, like volunteering or setting up something, or like what did you do to further this passion aside from applying for a scholarship?
Now, like I mentioned, forensic science is like novel in this country. So
It's very
to
rare.
find a place where you can even volunteer, it was not really a readily available option. I had my regular work, I teach. So, but the friend I met at that offer holders event, he was interestingly applying for the same course, forensic science. And from there, we talked, we exchanged contacts. And a few weeks after the event, he said he was planning to set up a community for forensic awareness.
So he's actually the founder
So
of...
he founded the community.
Wow.
And then
Networking.
he asked me if I would be available to volunteer, and I said fine, I will
Wow,
volunteer.
that's so cool.
And that was around October. We launched officially October 2019.
Wow. Did he also apply for Chevening?
Yes, he did.
But it wasn't
it
selected.
wasn't.
But is he going to apply again?
Definitely.
And I know you're going to mentor him
I
or at least
think
support him.
Yes, he's a fantastic friend.
Wow, like friendship goals. So when you started, when you decided that you wanted to study forensic science, you started volunteering, did you have people tell you like, what's that? Or were people like excited about it, or you had a balance of both?
Most people didn't even know about forensic science. So the most frequently asked question is
what's that?
What is the and then by the time you explain, they say, is that available here
In this country? Like,
So some go to the point of saying, well, if you are able to get it, I think you are going to be new here, so you have a chance. So
you even had support, like there are people that don't have that kind of support.
Of course.
What would you say to those kind of people that want to do something, but their family, their friends are like, that doesn't make sense, don't do that?
If you have the dream, it is your dream.
It is your dream.
Your dream. People may oppose the dream, but if you have a focus on what you want to do and you have the plan, then by all means you go for it, whatever the cost.
This is just, I'm willing, I'm really inspired. Anyway, so you applied for Chevening the first time, you weren't selected.
No, this was actually my first time.
So you was Commonwealth, first
scholarship initially.
And you weren't like a little discouraged, but not getting it the first time, or
I was not discouraged.
you were just
I
like,
was
this is
pained.
my dream. You were pained, okay.
Yes, but if anything at all, it made me more desperate. Yes, I was willing to go.
So failure should spoil you.
I was willing
harder.
to go as far as getting. Last year when the results came out, I was willing to go as far as getting a loan to go for the course.
Wow.
Yes, I approached some
That's
organizations.
pure passion.
Like trying to find out a bank partnering with an organization on student loans, but the conditions for the loans were unfavorable. So I felt, this is not an option, and I just had to rely on a scholarship. Only a fully funded scholarship could have made it.
Obviously.
Yes.
So what would you say was the it factor that helped you to win Chevening? Because I know how competitive Chevening is. Even in Nigeria alone, over 6,000 applications, just about 49 selected. Like, what would you say is that it factor that helped you specifically to get selected?
Well, maybe the peculiarity of my course could have contributed to it. But above that, the passion I demonstrated at the point of the interview.
Essays first. What did you say helped you in the essays?
In the essays, I got help from a community of fellow applicants. And there was this Telegram group
Okay.
where applicants met. Previous scholars shared tips on how to write the essays.
Okay, so
And
join a lot of
yes, if
applicant
you can
groups.
find those ones,
find them,
you'll find
join them.
moral support in
Because you're all on the
fellow
same journey.
yes. So although like I mentioned, I was busy at work at that time. So but I took
from
time
time
to
to time,
read
you checked it out.
through the discussions and the mentoring sessions. And when it came to time to write my essays, I knew what I needed to write. And it has been a dream I have had for
So it
long.
was very easy for you.
It was easy to just
document
put down my goals.
Did you have people read through your essays, Joe?
My friend did. Because
This same friend?
Yes.
Please, what's your friend's name? Let's give him a shout out.
His name is Fejiro.
Fejiro, we're
Yes,
shouting
his name
out
is-
to you.
His
Thank
name
you.
is Fejiro,
Looking
and I
forward to
remain ever
interviewing you
grateful
next
to
year.
him. I remain grateful to him.
Like, it's so
he read
nice.
he read my essays,
Wow.
and because at the time when my essays were ready, it was close to the deadline, very
Wow.
close to the deadline, and it's not
And
a
the
good,
website crashes like really close to the deadline.
I
like,
could not
how-
submit at the
You
first
couldn't
time.
submit. Exactly.
The website reopened again. I was still working on my essays. The third time, it
Wow.
was few hours to the final deadline. I just
After the
submitted.
first time, you did not say, let me finish
Yes.
this.
And
Please don't try
I
this.
think yes,
Don't
it's
try
important to
this.
mention that preparation is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Prepare as early as you can. Now, I put up my essays in a short time, but I've been writing for a long time. So writing was my strong forte. I could pick up anything I
Something to
wanted.
do easily.
It's something I do easily. So writing the essay in
Actually,
a
I
short
think I
time.
depended on that as well
Yes.
because I did last minute, which is bad.
It's not too.
don't
It's
do that.
not too good. You should not
If you
do
know
that.
that writing is not something you're used
Yes, and I had the essays I had written for the previous scholarship.
to. So it was easy
So
to.
my career plans were already set. They were clear.
So that's something that helped you.
Yes.
Don't think that you can, because I don't think that it's something you can just wake up and write in
No,
2
no,
days.
it's not.
You
Now,
will not give your best.
the
your
aspect
best,
of leadership and
application.
networking. The aspect of leadership and networking. There were things that were natural to me. So it's just to pick. I wrote several examples, and I had to just cut out
Pick the
some.
ones that were most relevant.
So it was readily available.
I also say that people should write out like all of their experiences so
Exactly,
that you can say, okay, this one is the strongest, this one is, do you get? So I feel like that's very important. So now for the interview, what would you say helped you? Because that's like one of the most competitive parts of it.
Yes.
Like, what would you say, was your strong point?
For the interview, the first thing I would say is my essays were original. So the questions I got
plagiarize, you
asked,
didn't pretend
of course,
it
the
was
questions I got asked at the interview, they were the same questions I had written about. Now, I was asked a question on leadership, for example, but my leadership examples in the essays, by the time I was writing the essay, that was in 2019. Interview was in 2020. So if in the essay I said last year, it's becoming 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
So I had to pick a more recent example,
Wow.
which I noticed impressed the panel. So it's not like it's banking on the
old
examples
things
of
that got in there.
yesteryears. It's leadership is part of me.
That's some inside
So
information.
the
Note that
passion
down.
I demonstrated during my interview as well, I noticed
And
from
then
the-
consistency,
yes,
showing
yes.
that you're still working on this.
Exactly.
It's very
So
important.
I noticed
as
that
well. So what would you say, or what do you wish you did differently in your application process?
Well, to be honest, whatever I did obviously turned out to be enough.
So you don't regret anything. You
Yeah.
feel like everything.
Although sincerely, maybe if I had started earlier, well, and another point is sometimes I work better when I'm under pressure. So writing at the very last
I can
weeks
relate.
of the
Make you bring out the
application,
best in you.
that adrenaline rush gave me some extra boost. But it's not, as I mentioned before, it may not be the best for everyone.
So what lesson has this entire thing taught you about life? Because this is quite a journey. This is like, for me, it's really inspiring to find someone like that and then network and then get that kind of support and then even try to apply for something, put in the work, get selected. Like, what has everything that's happened, from your journey to getting Chevening taught you about life?
If you want something, go for it. I say that because it still surprises people when I tell them that I finished with a second class lower in my first degree.
Wow.
I finished with a second class lower, and
Wow.
I finished with that degree not because I couldn't get higher, but certain
other
circumstances, and I could easily have written myself off.
But you didn't let that
But I
limit
didn't.
you.
When I went back for my master's, I did a master's in organic chemistry. When I went back for that, I had a distinction.
Wow.
Because at that time, things were a lot clearer.
Yeah.
I had a goal. Even the master's I took in organic chemistry, I took it with the mindset that it would help me when I eventually go for forensic science.
Wow.
Because the plan was there. Forensic science was the goal. Every other thing I did in between was just
to get you there.
Get there and
that
to
means
be
you're
better.
already preparing like a whole long time before you even started.
Yes, one of the schools I applied to in 2014 did not even give me any offer.
Wow.
And they told me that my first degree was too low to get an offer.
What?
So I felt, okay, at least if I combine a first degree with a master's.
And you had a distinction in your
of course,
master's.
so
yeah.
I went into the master's with the mindset that if a first degree is not good enough,
adding
a master's to that. Interestingly, Chevening does not even care about your master's or your
it's more
class.
About your experience.
So the schools, almost all the other schools I applied to with just my first degree, even without the master's, almost all of them gave me the offer.
A lot of schools, I think it's 2-2 and above. Some schools
2-2.
actually, like I know my course was I think 2-1 and above. But some schools really, so you just have to research and don't let it limit you.
So if you want something, just
many people think that scholarships like Chevening, Commonwealth is only first class, but I know 2-1s that got it, 2-2s that got it. It's just about your experience, your dream, your passion, just like you said. So what advice would you have for applicants? The essay, okay, you already talked briefly about that, but what advice would you say for someone, who wants to apply this year? What would you tell them to do to help them to, put in their best foot forward?
Okay, advice generally is that start as early as you can. And looking at the statistics of yearly applicants and the successful, it can be very demoralizing.
Discouraging and intimidating.
But bear in mind that we miss all the shots that we don't take. If you don't apply, you can never be selected.
True.
If you apply, you are either selected or not.
Or you're rejected. Like it's one of the two.
And you get better with every application.
Yeah.
The application I made for Commonwealth Share Scholarship definitely had impact in my preparation for Chevening, because it helped me when I was preparing that application. I sat down, I had to draw out my career plans. So by the time I was preparing for Chevening, and Chevening was even the only scholarship I applied for.
Just like
eventually
me.
Last year. So it helped me to prepare things. So with every application, you get better, whether you are ready or not, especially if you feel you are not ready because of the qualifications of people you have read about. But you deserve the scholarship. You have the leadership experience, the networking experience, and you have a clear-cut career plan. Then give it your shot. If you take the shot, you can win. If you don't, you are
already sure you have lost. Well, this was just so inspiring. Like I'm so inspired. I've noticed some things in my head, and I'm sure that you guys have learned a lot. Thank you so much, John, for all of your insights. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share. And this video was sponsored by Abemont Consulting. I remain your girl, AFM Stories. Till the next time. Bye.